Have you ever stopped to think that real life is not this polished image that we see on screens, social networks, or pages of books? That the true existence is quite different from what they sell us as ideal. She is a mixture of surprises, pains, and joys that intertwine in ways no one can predict. I live more than my memory can register, and I can guarantee I witness situations that most people don't even think they exist. In youth, I thought you understood how the world worked. He believed in successful magic formulas, infallible rules, lists, absolute certainties about what was right or wrong. But life, with its relentless wisdom, soon showed me that no manual can replace the ability to hear the inner voice itself. No one will tell you the truth in a way that makes sense to you. Truth only reveals itself when we experience it through the falls, the losses of what we love, the joys that do not fit into words. Have you ever seen a path full of bifurcations, where each direction seems to lead to a completely different destination, and the more you try to choose the right path, the more invisible force it seems to pull it to where reason says it shouldn't go? I remember once I found myself exactly on this crossroads, both in the literal and figurative sense. At that moment, everything seemed lost, but it was precisely when the world seemed to collapse that I heard an inner voice saying, "Just follow, don't be afraid." And that's how life tests us all the time. It puts us to the test, question our honesty, our courage, our ability to embrace both pain and happiness. Many times we are afraid of not realizing it, fear of losing, of making mistakes, saying yes or no at the wrong time. The most curious thing is that the greatest learnings come precisely from what we fear the most. I spent years trying to please others, parents, teachers, bosses, society. I did what they expected of me, convinced that this was the way to success. But the more he followed the steps of others, the less I felt alive. It was then that I understood a simple truth. You will never be happy living the lives of others. Today I want to share with you what I learned along the way. There are short sentences that carry integer universes, ideas that seem simple but have the power to transform everything. I will tell stories that I lived, stories that could be yours too. Reports from which valuable lessons can be made if you are willing to see them. Imagine that every moment of your life is a page being written. There is no predefined script, no schedule below. Sometimes it seems that the page is blurred by errors. Other times, nothing makes sense. But if we look carefully, every dash, every paint stain is a lesson, a truth, a wisdom that is not bought or lent. I ask you to stay until the end, because what I'm going to say next concerns everyone, regardless of who you are or what you do. These words have the potential to change their perspective on life. If you think you already know everything, I guarantee you will find out something that will make you rethink your certainties. Remain, because below will come stories without filters or illusions, reports on loss and victories, about fear and courage, about a single thought can change the course of everything. Brief stories, but loaded with meaning, where each word contains a truth. Are you ready to see what's behind everyday things, ordinary days, smiles and tears? Then remain, because real life begins where fears, prejudice, and fantasies are over, where only you are left, your honesty and your ability to recognize the truth in every moment. Today I will share what I learned in years of experience. And when you hear these reflections, you may look at your mistakes, joys, and fears otherwise. Maybe you feel relief where there was before there was weight. Perhaps realize that everything you need is already within your reach. Say until the end, because the truth I will reveal is simple, wise, and powerful. It is hidden in the small details, in each choice, in every word said or silent. When you see you with your own eyes, you will understand that life is not a set of rules, but a path that teaches us to be ourselves. Ready to start. When I speak of life, I don't mean that edited version that appears in movies or in the networks. I speak of real dad and that we feel in the skin, of losses and reunions, falls and overcoming, constant learning to understand people, circumstances, and ourselves. I remember that when I was young, I associated success with money, status, and recognition. I worked 12 hours a day trying to please others, pretending that their dreams were mine, and lost me in the process. Do you know what I found out? A successful success on other expectations never brings realization. You can conquer everything you want, but if you are not truly yours, it will be just a disguised void. There is an episode of my life that illustrates this lesson well. I held an important position, with respect of colleagues and a good salary. It seemed perfect, but I woke up every day with a weight in my chest, thinking, this is not mine. Somewhere on the way, I ceased to be myself. It was then that I made a decision that many considered crazy. I dropped everything. I abandoned stability, comfort, the facade of perfection. Only then did I understand that happiness does not come from external success, but from the internal honesty and the freedom to be who you are. Life teaches us through mistakes, And sometimes the most painful failures become the most valuable lessons. I made misconceptions in relationships, at work, at personal life. There were times when I lost friends, when my choices turned against me. But it was in these falls that I learned to value something fundamental. Every moment is an opportunity to become better than we were yesterday. I met people who spent time complaining about life, hoping someone would show up to solve everything for them. But life doesn't work like that. No one will go through your way for you. Wisdom comes when we look at our mistakes. We take responsibility for our decisions and our feelings. These are not just words, it is a truth proven by the experience. One of my biggest findings was don't be afraid of being yourself. Many people fear expressing their opinions, going their own way, being different. They are afraid of judgment, of losing approval, not being understood. But know that your uniqueness is your strength. Who really values you will accept it with your peculiarities, your honesty, and your courage to be authentic. I will share another story. At the beginning of my journey, I met someone who seemed to have everything: success, confidence, the perfect formula for living. I tried to copy your style, your words, your life. But every time he did that, he felt a void until one day he said something simple: don't look for the way of others. His strength is on his own trail. These words transformed me. I began to hear my inner voice, my desires, my intuitions. And when I started to live according to my own rules, I realized that happiness is in the little things, in the morning sun, in a conversation with a friend, in the laughter of a child, in a sincere word. And so, life has gained new meaning. What I have learned is that life is not a race, not a list of goals to be met. It is the ability to be aware every moment and value what we already have here and now. There is another truth that I extracted from years of observation. Do not judge others severely, for each one goes their own way. We only see the surface, but no one knows what hides inside a person. Sometimes we look at someone's success and think, he made it all right, but we do not see the internal doubts, the losses, the fears it carried. And, on the contrary, a person who looks fragile can be stronger than any other who appears to have everything. I also learned that everything in life is temporary. Joy goes, sadness passes, success comes and goes. Therefore, it is so important to value the present moment, be grateful for what we have and not cling to what is gone. Gratitude is the key to inner harmony. Every day, I am grateful for being able to breathe, see, feel, learn, and love. And that is exactly what makes real life. So I want to tell you now, don't try to live according to the rules of others. Don't try to be who you are not. Learn from your mistakes, value the little things, rejoice in the simple, have the courage to make decisions, even if they scare, because it is in them that their true strength is born. I leave here some practical advice that helped me and helped many people with whom I shared my journey. Listen to yourself. Stay strong to your feelings, desires, and fears. They are your guides. Accept the errors. They are not failures, but lessons that make you wiser. Value the moments. Do not postpone happiness for later. Do not waste time with small hurts. Don't compare yourself. Your life is a unique, unrepeatable path. Be grateful. Gratitude opens your eyes to beauty. Even in difficult times. Follow your way. Even if the road is scary, even if the end is not in sight, it is in it that you will become who you really are. I can guarantee, because I saw people who followed these principles and their lives have become. They ceased to be slaves to the expectations of others. They came to rejoice with each day. They found happiness where they once saw routine before. And this is not magic. It is practical. It is a choice that each of us can make right now. Another thing, don't be in a hurry. Life is not a race. Do not run after achievements, recognition, or success. True value arises when we live with conscience, when each day is filled with meaning and attention to oneself and others. Look with courage to your fears, your mistakes and joys. Learn from them, value them, live them, so you will understand the simple truth that I learned over the years. Life is not about controlling everything, but about finding meaning in each step and being honest with yourself. When you accept this, when you start living with this honesty, you will find that even the most difficult days are part of your wisdom. You will become stronger, serene, happier, and every new day will bring joy, even if the world around is full of chaos. Life teaches us briefly and wisely. Each lesson, every loss, every joy is a truth. So let's learn this truth together. When I look back, I see that nothing in life happens by chance. Each loss, every joy, every moment of fear or courage are wires that weave the fabric of our destiny. And what I understand is that life is not measured by the amount of days, but by the depth of the moments lived. We often seek meaning in the future, make plans, worry about what may never happen. But the true wisdom comes when we stop and see what is already important here, now, in the smile of a friend, in the heat of the family, the possibility of saying honestly what we feel, This is what makes real, full, and valuable real life. I met many people who spend years running after something grand, unreachable, forgetting the simple joys. Sometimes it looked like they were lost forever, but then I saw it as a small step, a moment of perception, can change everything. As someone finally decides to live by their own rules, to hear yourself, to follow where the heart points out, and at that moment, it is as if life again filled with light. So I want to tell you that it accompanies me here. Don't be afraid to seek your way. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be afraid to live. Each error is a lesson. Each fear is an opportunity. Each defeat is a chance to become stronger. Life offers no guarantees. No one can promise that tomorrow will be better, but there is a choice: how to face life, how to receive your difficulties and joys. We can see them as a burden or as a learning. We can complain or thank. We can be afraid or act. And it is from this choice that depends who you will become and how will live your way. I remember moments when everything seemed lost, when there was no strength, but it was exactly then that I understood. The strength comes from acceptance, not the resistance. It comes from honesty with oneself and the willingness to face life as it is, with all its joys and pains. I leave with you some reflections that have become my headlights and can become yours. Do not seek external approval. Life is too short to please everyone. Listen to yourself. Trust your feelings and desires. Learn to value each day. Happiness is not in the future, but in the present. Wrong with courage. Errors are not defeats. They are masters who never abandon us. Be grateful. Gratitude reveals the value of every moment, of love, of small joys. Follow your way, even though it is scary, known, or difficult. It isn't it that you will find true freedom and happiness. I know that sometimes it seems that everything is too difficult, that fears and doubts are stronger than you. But believe me, every step that you give honesty makes you stronger. Each time you choose to be yourself, it approaches a life full of meaning and joy. And one more thing, don't be in a hurry. Life is not a race. Do not run after recognition, success, or the goals of others. Hurry blinds us to small joys, for the daily miracles that happen every day. Slow down, breathe, look around. You will see that life is beautiful, even when it seems difficult. If you assimilate these lessons, if you see meaning in each step, every error, and every joy, you will feel true freedom, the freedom to be yourself, to rejoice, to love, to value moments that once seemed common. And right now, you will understand a simple truth that I learned over the years. The true wisdom of life is not having all the answers, but in living with honesty every day, listening to the heart and valuing what is here and now. If you've gotten here, it is because you are interested, because you are ready to learn, to see life as it is, with your joys, losses, and lessons. And I want to invite you to continue this path with me. Follow the space not to lose the next steps of this journey. Do not skip the next content that will come, because there are still many stories ahead, those that open their eyes. We teach you to see life in depth and strengthen the courage to be honest with ourselves. Remember, life is short, but the wisdom it offers us is immense, and every day is a new chance to become better, happier, and stronger. No theme to live, no theme to make a mistake. Don't be the theme you are. When we set aside fear, each moment gains value, each step becomes significant, and each day turns into a genuine gift. Life teaches us wisely, sometimes briefly, sometimes with pain, sometimes still with joy. But in each lesson there is a truth. In each word there is a meaning. If you're aware, if you learn to listen to yourself and go your own way, you will find that joy, that freedom, and that wisdom that make life truly alive. So go ahead, life, miss, learn, famous, and above all, be yourself, because that, yes, is the essence of life.